Hello there again, everybody. This is going to be something a little different than what I usually do, but something I really, really love. This is an old favorite of mine. This is Grixis Shadow. Using a list very similar to this, I qualified for my first Star City Games Invitational. I top forward a modern classic with something very similar to this. So I guess just wanted to throw that out there as a bit of credibility. In that I have played this deck a few times before. I'm by no means a master, but I think I know what I'm doing for the most part. So with that said, I have made some changes since the list that I did well with a while ago. Sprite Dragon wasn't a card quite yet, so I'm playing 2 copies of that. I definitely did want to up my threat count. Traditionally, as far as I'm aware, one of Grixis Shadow's main problems has been threat density. So usually you have like your 8 really good threats, being the 4 copies of Death Shadow and Gurmag Angler. Gurmag Angler, one of the more awkward threats, just because you require some other synergies to get it going. And even if you do have the synergies to power it out quickly, it can get kind of awkward if you've got multiple copies that you're not able to cast, because you do need to have a relatively full graveyard for them to be super effective. So I am playing only 3 Gurmag Angler to mitigate, hopefully drawing many copies of it. And I am playing 2 more threats than would be normal, not counting Snapcaster as a threat. So I mentioned usually there's 8, now I'm playing 10. I'm playing the 4 Death Shadow, 3 Angler, 2 copies of Sprite, and 1 copy of Lurrus. There's no way to tutor for this Lurrus or anything, but I think it's just a nice, powerful 3-drop. I am playing only 17 lands, so I'm not really confident in being able to cast this Lurrus 100% of the time, but I think it'll be powerful enough to where the games where I can cast it, it should be pretty good. My sideboard, I've got lots of ways to interact with the opposing control decks. One of the weaker matchups for this pile will be the decks employing Path to Exile. We've got ways to fight it: Inquisition, Thoughtseize, Stubborn Denial, stuff like that. But I've got some sideboard cards that'll also help defeat it in Dispel. Dispel also just going to be good versus all the various cryptic command shenanigans that we expect to be going on. We're not super concerned about Boil, but Dispel hits that as well. Aether Gust, obviously, for all the really powerful red and green decks running around. Feed the Swarm, this is an additional removal spell and also an out to Leyline of Sanctity, which would usually make our Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes annoying. Ashiok, just everyone knows this is a very powerful modern sideboard staple by now. And then as an additional piece of Grave Hate, I'm playing 2 Nile Spellbomb. Also can come in versus the grindy matchups that have even a little bit of graveyard synergy, like the Arrow Piles. Necromentia as a just another combo deck hoser. And if we're playing against anything slow and grindy, Kolaghan's Commands should be a pretty excellent 2-for-1. So with that said, I actually forgot to pull up the modern metagame breakdown. Modern meta. Oops. There we go. Okay, so we've got our Uro piles still in at first. Go away, ads. Go away, ads. Heliod Company rising all the way up to number 2. Rakdos Death Shadow rising all the way. Oh, not rising. It's been here for a while. Mono Red bouncing back in popularity. Another green white deck up in the top 5. Eldormu's Toolbox. I've heard that there's lots and lots of Tron going on right now, because a lot of the best decks tend to be some of the slower mid-rangey ones, and Tron tends to be pretty good versus those. Pretty funny. We've got the Colossus Hammer combo coming in our top 7 over here. And then all the other mainstays just kind of hovering around where they usually are. Hey, we got Grixis Death Shadow actually sneaking in on 21st. Pretty cool. Alright, so let's jump into not a limited league, a constructed league. Play. This deck list is so full, there's like almost a good place to put this where I don't block something. Lots of different mana costs. The opponent has revealed Luris of the Dream Den. Well, this hand's a pretty just standard excellent Death Shadow hand. We don't have red mana, but red's our tertiary color, so we don't necessarily need it. Oh, so it looks like we're playing against the Colossus Hammer deck already. They've got a pretty good start, looks like. Alright, and there's our second black and our first red. So definitely going to be casting Thoughtseize here. It's just a matter of how I want to sequence things. I suppose I should cycle the Street Wraith to give me more information when Thoughtseizing. I'm almost definitely going to be powering out both of these shadows next turn because I have the Street Wraith. I can lose 5 between these. +2 on Thoughtseize, +2 on Street Wraith, so I can go to 11 by myself, which has me to playing both shadows next turn, or a shadow plus a push. So I think I'll take a land out of the deck by Fetch Shocking, and then I'll just go ahead and cycle the Street Wraith to get the info, because like it's gonna happen anyway, and I don't have a bobble, so like I might as well afford myself the free info. All right. Well, they've got 2 Paladins and a Steel Shaper's Gift. So the Steel Shaper's Gift gets the hammer. They can auto-equip because of double Paladin. So maybe I should just be taking a Pure Steel Paladin. So that way if they play the second one, I can go like Shadow and push their second copy. Gift will get the combo piece, but the Paladin is probably what's going to make them able to actually combo me because they can have their Metal Craft turned on to equip for basically free. Angler, not the worst. It's just another threat, really. So I do want to get this this Paladin off the table. I don't want them drawing cards. So let's just go ahead and kill this thing now. And deploy a Shadow. As a 2/2. Don't have a way to grow it quite yet, but I'm not in a rush. That's fine. I might just end up tapping out for a Grimring Angler next turn. It's bigger than the Shadow is right now. If I draw like a fetch, maybe I'll like Snapcaster a push. Sigarda's Aid is dangerous though. Alright, so now I'm gonna probably just have to hold up the Sigarda's Aid because this being able to auto equip means I'm gonna probably need to hold up my push. I mean if they're just gonna hit me for 10 right now, I could be in danger. If I draw Battle Rage, I just kill him, but I'll have the push to defend myself because this doesn't just kill me. So if I draw Battle Rage, we win. All right. Well, it looks like I'm gonna be reserved to snap pushing. Kind of can't attack. I guess I can, right? Because the Snapcaster can block the 1/1. Either would be lethal, but the Snapcaster and the push will combine to prevent me dying. So I do think I want to 2-turn clock him here. So I'll wait until they go to combat, and then I'll flash in the Snapcaster, and hopefully that'll be game. They can use their Ink Moth to block the Shadow for a turn if they want, but if they're doing that, I've basically eliminated their entire board, and I feel pretty safe. If they draw another Hammer here, then, you know, kind of is what it is. I guess this was playing around the Snapcaster, not attacking with the Memnite. They could like draw a protection spell conceivably, so maybe there's an argument to just upkeeping it. But I'm not sure that they play the protection. If they do, it'll be a learning experience. Alright, cool. Alright, and it doesn't look like they drew anything meaningful, which is nice. Bobble allows us to play the Angler. We're not sacking this Bloodstained Mire. I suppose I should definitely be attacking. They're basically forced to block. And I guess if I almost definitely want this fresh card coming down the line faster. So I guess I should just crack the Bobble targeting the opponent. Okay, cool. All right, so we're playing against Colossus Hammer. Kolaghan's Command should be nice. Just as a good 2-for-1. Also, we can destroy artifacts with it. Ashiok will turn off their search effects, but I'm not sure that's super relevant. Feed the Swarm is probably going to be good just as another removal spell, and there's a non-zero chance the opponent's got a Leyline. Not really liking a whole lot else. They are playing Lurrus as a companion, so maybe we want Spellbomb, but that seems a bit slow. Definitely want the Stubborn Denials and the Snapcasters. What's up, Chaos? And thanks for the resub, I appreciate it. I'm off for the break. Kinda. My break is technically ending. Yeah, man, I don't even know. There's never really a vacation in engineering school, at least not the one I'm in. But the good news is the semester's almost over, and then I have a break forever because I graduate. Well, if you want to call having to get a job a break. Yeah, engineering. Alright, so Lurks is probably a bit slow. Need 3 more cuts. I am mechanical engineering. So maybe I should take out an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize just to mitigate the effects of potential Leylines. But Inquisition is one of my better cards if I have it early. Yeah, in theory I'm golden, right? Like, I've got an internship now and they seem to like me, but we'll see what happens. I think on the draw I'll cut 1 Battle Rage. I need 1 more cut. I think I'm pretty safe just cutting a threat here. The opponent's deck isn't really one that is going to be removing the ones that we have. So I think cutting a threat's probably fine. I expect the ones that we have to be fairly sticky. Darn, no lands. Well, how much your redraws though? Oof, same issue. This hand's very good if we hit a land. We've got ways to protect versus the combo, and we've got lots of redraws, including 2 free ones. I think I'm going to keep and probably just bottom the thing that costs a lot of mana. I mean, it's obviously a risk, but going to 5 is also a risk. We've got 3 looks at any land on top, basically. Not any land. We don't want a basic. All right, and there we go. We hit it. So definitely going to Thoughtseize here. I guess I should have probably cycled these first just because like that increases my odds of hitting another land. But I do want to cycle these now, I think, just to get more info. The opponent's like not playing Inquisitions or Thoughtseizes of their own. So drawing the fresh cards now it's not super risky. Alright, so and I do think I'll be casting Thoughtseize here as opposed to Inquisition, just because like if I draw a shadow, there's a chance I want to play it next turn, and this gets me below 13 life. They got doubles. They got 1 Stoneforge, the Hammer, and the Steel Shaper's Gift. They don't actually have a creature that carries it. I think I'm probably just gonna take the Stoneforge. It's the 2-for-1 here. Gift gets the Hammer, and like they've already got another Hammer. Like these are all basically hammers, so I'll take the copy of Hammer that has a body basically attached to it. Giver. Okay, well I can dismember that. You gonna steal Shaper's Gift now too? Or I guess they're not gonna cast a hammer. This is 0 to equip, 1 to equip. Maybe they just do that. You hate Grixis Shadow? You hate playing against it, or you just don't like the deck? Alright, so we know the opponent's hand. There's not really anything that I want to Inquisition right now. I'm not super in on Dismembering right now either. I think I just want to try to hit a land. Both. I love this deck so much. It's pretty powerful, and it's a mid-range deck, basically. So it's got everything I like. Right, so I think I'm just going to try to hit the land here. And if I don't, it's unfortunate, but not, like, tragic. We hit the island. That's a land. Yeah, it does spin the wheels sometimes, but I've adjusted the deck a little bit to hopefully spin the wheels less. Like I'm playing more than usual, a higher than usual number of threats. So I guess I'm just passing here. I can have up Thought Scour as well as my Dismember. Yeah, I agree with that. This deck does just outperform a lot of stuff sometimes. Oh, they drew the Stoneforge anyway. And that Stoneforge is going to be protected, so I do actually have to Dismember the Giver. This is going to be another hammer, I would guess. I don't know that they even play other equipment. I think Stoneforge is literally just another hammer. Oh, Shadow Spear, that's cool. Gives lifelink and trample. Sure. Play the Shadow Spear. Yep. Let's get this thing out of here. Can I draw a shadow, please? Land. So we know the hand. They played the Silent Clearing. So if I'm willing to go down to 4, I can cast a Sprite and then an Inquisition. I don't think I'm going to be snapping a Dismember. I do like the idea of getting the Stormwind going. This gives +1/+1. They could make this a 2/3, and then they hit me down to 2. But I mean, as long as I'm okay not taking another hit, that's probably just okay. Like this deck lives dangerously. I think I'm fine with that. Alternatively, I could just Inquisition, Thought Scour, and like get this untapped, and then next turn maybe have a good Snapcaster turn. I think I like digging for a beefier threat, either an Angler or a Shadow. So I think I like casting Thought Scour right now, which means I can have this come in tapped. I'll just have the Snapcaster up as just another thing to do reactively. Unfortunately, I can't fetch Shock, Dismember, Inkmoth. Okay. Gotta have to worry about Luris pretty soon. Sure. And I guess in the event that I draw a removal spell, I should be Thought Scouring first. Let me get this land out of the deck. Get our Blood Crypt, say no. Thought Scour me. Because if I draw like a push or something here, I'll probably just push this thing. Shadow's good. So now I need to be afraid of the opponent being able to like auto-equip a hammer to a Nexus. I think that's how I probably lose, if at all. But this Shadow is going to be gargantuan. Alright, another land. Not fantastic. Do I just go double threat here and then cast Inquisition? Like I can go Shadow, Sprite, Inquisition. I mean, that seems good. The alternative is like play a Shadow and then hold up Snapcaster plus a 1-mana spell, which is only Thought Scour. Yeah, I think I like the line of just like play all my spells. Obviously sequencing it this way so I get a trigger. argument to holding Inquisition for potential them putting Lurrus into their hand, but we've got Snapcaster Inquisition for when that happens. And I don't think that the Steel Shaper's Gift gets anything other than Hammer. Obviously they have Shadow Spear as well. I think I still just want to take the Hammer to force them to get another Hammer. Alright, so they've got Gift, and that's it. I can play a Shadow. And then I suppose I can get in for 2 as well. Upkeep a Snap Dismember. That has me losing 2 life, but yeah, I've got 2 more life to work with. Are you talking Snap Dismember instead of the 3 spells I just cast? I definitely like getting the Shadow down because it's huge. Ooh, Auriok Champion's annoying. Equip, yep. So that can attack past me. It doesn't attack past the Snapcaster though. Just spitballing, I see. Alright, well I can't really cycle a Street Wraith right now because then I do kind of just die to the Auriok Champion. The opponent doesn't know that I've got Snapcaster, which might be an effective way to block the Auriok Champion. Can I get through a bluff somehow? As it stands, I have Snapcaster Dismember going down to 2 life, which means any of my opponent's hits are lethal. Yeah, I think I'm just going to be attacking with the Dragon here. Obviously, can't attack with Shadows. I'll just block with an Auriok Champion. Like, there's an argument to holding back Sprite Dragon because then I can't die to an Inkmoth Nexus play. But I think I need to be somewhat on the offensive here. If I attack with Sprite, I think there's a good chance they attack with the Auriok Champion, which I kind of want at this point because that would unlock the Shadow. I think it's probably okay to not cycle the Street Wraith, especially because no matter what we hit off of it, it's probably not better than Snapcaster Dismember anyway, and like that already uses all of our mana. Oh crap. Alright, well they drew the aid. That's unfortunate. Alright, there's their Hammer probably. And that Hammer can go on the Auriok Champion, but again, we get to block it. And they could also just put it on the Stoneforge since it's got Trample. Alright, so let's, I guess, see what they do. And now that... Alright, so this is gone. Now that they're not attacking with the Stoneforge, do I just redraw off of a Thought Scour to try to hit a Temur Battle Rage? There's only 1 in the deck, but Battle Rage would just kill the opponent, right? We could cycle Street Wraith going down to 2, which would have us having an 11/11, which hits for 22. The opponent absorbs 3 of it. That's 20, but they're gaining 2 because of lifelink, so they do still just die because we're hitting for 18, assuming my math is correct. They're going up to 18 because of this Auriok Champion, but as long as nothing else enters the battlefield, we do just have lethal. Why didn't I stub that? Oh, I milled one. I thought they were all Thought Scours. That was honestly just me not looking at it. Oops. So... killing this, if I kill the Stoneforge Mystic, does that give me any additional outs to just killing them? That has the Sprite going up to a 3 power creature. My Shadow is going to be 11. That's 15. If I like cantrip spell on the spell, that's a way to win. I think I'm going to go for the kill the Stoneforge play. Yeah, I should have stubbed it. I honestly thought they were all Thought Scours. I should have looked at it a little bit more closely. But yeah, if I were the opponent, I probably would have just put it on the Stone Forges. That's the one with trample. So I gotta pay 2 life here. Can't cycle Street Wraith, which is why I didn't. Alright, so another Shadow. Fortunately, that doesn't do it. Kill what in response? I think we're just dead to the Auriok champion now. We can hit for 14, but that's 4 off. And if we cycle the Street Wraith, we die. Yeah, we die. Yeah, so I should have stubbed the hammer, but I just didn't see it. Think I'm good with the 1 sprite still. It still seems fine. Inquisition might be better on the play. It's definitely better on the play, but I still think it's softer to leyline, so maybe as a hedge, it's fine to not play the 7th hand disruption spell. I think I just like resubmitting this. Wish I had seen that stub, though. Let's go first. What's Necromentia? I'll show it. Actually, I guess I could just pull it up, right? There. Basically just a way to get anything out of the opponent's deck. This hand's great. Keep. I'll cycle this Street Wraith to get the info. They get zombies, yeah, but the zombies are hardly relevant. There's a version of the card where instead of getting zombies, if you get one out of their hand, you get they get to draw a card. But I think giving the opponent a zombie is probably better for us than having them draw a card. Maybe specifically in Grixis Shadow, that's not the case, just because like them having a blocker could be meaningful. But I mean, I'm trying it out. Another Street Wraith. Demonstrate a loop. Hey, there's a Shadow. This hand is developing. Alright, so they've got Memnite, Mantle, Paladin, Mystic. So I've got a Fatal Push. With that in mind, what's happening? This Paladin is pretty scary, especially with all the equipment that the deck plays. So like I definitely need to deal with the Paladin with either this Inquisition or the push. So if I'm not taking Paladin here, I like have to save the push for it. Mystic is pretty annoying. Memnite plus Mantle gives the opponent some fast mana, but there's not really a whole lot they get to do with it right now, so I'm not really scared of it. I kind of like leaving them with the Memnite Mantle combo and then just taking their payoffs. So like if it's between the two, I guess I should take probably the Mystic here and then push the Paladin. This is a cast trigger, right? No, it's when it enters. Okay, so I can respond to them like casting a 0-mana equipment. So I'll take the Stoneforge since that's the enter the battlefield ability. And then like next turn I'll plan on shocking and playing a Shadow, and then I can like hold up Thought Scour push. Sure. Sure. So there's Memnite and the Mantle. And equip. Yep, sure. This is all fine. Bobble. I mean, I guess that gives us info. Say yes. We'll just do this now. They've got a Giver on top. So they can't Giver and Pure Steel because they only got double white. Definitely playing a Shadow here as a 1/1. And then just saying go. I mean, our hand's pretty excellent. I really don't mind them having access to this mana here. I definitely just think I want to have the push for the actual Pure Steel Paladin. Dismember is a great draw too. I suppose I should have had an upkeep stop. It was like in the upkeep after I draw the card, knowing I have second removal spell, then there's an argument to killing the Memnite then to actually cut them off of the mana. Without drawing another removal spell, I still like saving the push for the Paladin. Playing Giver, sure. Summoning Sick, though. Alright, we do have to kill the Giver, or else their pure steel Paladin will be protected next turn. So I might as well just use the Dismember now. I want to Dismember now before the upcoming turn anyway, because I want the Shadow to be big. So I think I'll use the Dismember over the push. So we know the hand now is Clearing and Paladin, which is, I think, a hand that we're well equipped to beat. Ooh, Drown. Also good. Alright, jam for 5. If they're attacking me, I'm, like, kind of okay with that. And then Drowns is a good draw just as a counter spell or a kill spell. It should get just about everything in their deck with 2 cards. And if there's something it can't hit, maybe there's a consideration of Thought Scouring them. Yeah, this is sweet. So I guess I should just counter it. If I cast the Fatal Push, I could also Thought Scour. It's just really a consideration of, do I want to be mana efficient now or have the ability to be it on future turns? It's probably best just to be mana efficient on future turns, especially because Snapcaster is better with the various things. Although, maybe I do want to Fatal Push Thought Scour now, because Fatal Push is a better thing to Snapcaster back, and I want the 1 mana spell in the graveyard as opposed to the 2 mana spell. So I think it is actually probably just better to cast the Fatal Push here, just off of the consideration of being able to snap it back more easily. Yep, gonna Scour Push. So if they cast an equipment here, I'll just respond, because again, this is an enter the battlefield effect, not a cast trigger. Alright, and their graveyard's pretty full, so I think I'm safe just Thought Scouring myself. Maybe I hit a Snapcaster thing that I'm interested in. Cool. Alright, so is it possible to fly too close to the sun here if I Fetch Shock and Cycle Street Wraith? That has me hitting for a lot. I mean, the upside of like hitting another threat is probably pretty high. If the opponent casts a another copy of Auriok Champion, I'm gonna need to counter it before it comes down. Yeah, I like the all-in play here. And if I am gonna Fetch Shock, that means I'm probably just doing that first. I could also just not shock. Like I could just fetch, because like losing 3 life is still a 2-turn clock here. Yeah, I mean the Fetch Shock play has me going all the way down to 3. That might be a little too reckless. I'm probably safe just getting like a snow covered swamp. That restricts my blue mana, but I honestly don't think a blue mana restriction is something I'm super concerned about. Hey, that's a good one. Jam. Alright, so now if they play Auriok Champion, we can just drown it off of the stack, not off the field, because again, it's got protection from black. Yeah. Well, if I draw TBR, it still kills them. Like, even without shocking. Hey man, with your ability to see cards in my graveyard and my math skills, together we make a good team. Alright, I think this is fine. I'll just let this resolve. Like, they can use it as a blocker, but if they don't do anything else, end step, I can just Kolaghan's Command both of their creatures. I'm just worried about the Auriok Champion. Paladin. That's also fine. So yeah, now I get to just kill all of the creatures and get in that way. So that'll resolve. So many modes. Alright, so 2 to any... So destroy an artifact. This one. 2 to any target. That one. Now we can just drown the Mem Knight and get in for 8. Even with an empty graveyard, you can drown a Mem Knight. Cool. So again, yeah, I definitely should have stubbed the hammer in game 2, but I thought it was a Thought Scour because I'm a doof. Oh, I forgot to add the deck list on Stream Decker. I should do that in between the next match. Another Lura stack. Well, I mean, double removal and some redraws and 2 lands. I can never mulligan. The opponent has mulliganed. Kind. Maybe Jund's Shadow? That'd be my guess. This is going to be a close matchup, probably. Shadow v Shadow action. I think the opponent, almost definitely the opponent has more threats than us, right? Because they're probably playing Tarmogoyf and Shadow and maybe even Scourge. Slugfests are great, though. That's what I wish all of Modern would be. As long as it doesn't involve Uro. Taking a stub. That's interesting. Alright. Well, I don't have a fetch to pair with, but I might have a fetch after my first cycle. Just another bobble, sure. I mean, I guess let's just go again. Alright, another stub. Not bad. And in the event they cast an Inquisition, I'll sacrifice the baubles on the opponent's upkeep so they don't have access to the card. If they cast Inquisition and I decide not to Stubborn Denial it. Renin 6. Alright, well, I guess that... Well, they might already have a copy of Renin 6 in their hand, which would explain why they took the stub. If they're just getting a land, that's fine. I could just stub it, but that's probably a little... What's the word? Stubborn Denial is probably better used some other time. Like, this game is going to go long enough to where they're going to hit their lands anyway. I don't have significant way to pressure their life total. And they're thought seizing me again. So they know my entire hand other than the Stubborn Denial. And they are playing Shadow. So, like, the removal spells are good. I'll stub it. Like them having their life total stay high is like a real thing. And I do think I'm looking for a threat here, so I like just getting all of my redraws in sooner rather than later. Have three draw steps right here. Drown is fine, Tarn is fine, Inquisition. So I could hold up the Drown, or I can Inquisition, hold up the Fatal Push. If the opponent has a threat, they would not have played it. But they are drawing Thoughtseize. I mean, my entire hand kind of has the same thing, so their Thoughtseize is kind of inconsequential. I think I should probably just Inquisition to take their first threat. Just see what's up. Like, holding up Drown doesn't seem to be much better. Their hand is also just removal. I guess I'll take the Wrenn. And they're drawing Thoughtseize. They know about the Steam Vents, but this way I get to hold up Push in case they somehow get like a Goyf out. Like, I could play this, but I'm not going to shock for no value. I guess it holds up Dismember, but... You can Thoughtseize me, sure. Just all removal. Take the Drown, sure. And I guess I should just take a land out of the deck. I mean, maybe I want to keep the Tarn around to revolt a Fatal Push, but they're pretty far from that plan being a thing. I think I should rather just take the land out of the deck. Obviously shocking because we're a Shadow deck. More Street Wraiths, sure. Give me an Angler. Angler would be a pretty good way to combat this opponent's Fatal Push. Let me just cast it. There's no real point in holding it, I don't think. Like, I could hold it for when they put Luris into their hand, but that's a while off from happening. Just say no to this. So Angler would be really, really strong. And the opponent also just like can't play shadows and stuff yet. Luris to hand, yep. We've got Dismember for that. Come on, Angler. Or a Shadow, really. Ooh, Snapcaster's good. I could just Snapcaster Inquisition. It gets a creature into play. Yeah, Wrenn and 6 is quite good versus me. This deck. I think I will just Snapcaster Inquisition. I think my Shadows are already going to be significantly big enough. I've also got Dismember to further grow it if I want. So yeah, I'll just snap an Inquisition here. Pretty good draw step. Boom. Bang. Luris. Go. But yeah. The Wrenn and 6 doesn't kill any of our creatures other than the Snapcaster, but them being able to basically recur the Peatland over and over again is threatening. Right, them sacrificing that's a good sign. There's almost an argument to like not even attacking with a Snapcaster, just because it'll allow them to play their shadows faster. But I mean, they're at the point where they're almost able to just deploy them anyway. Come on, Shadow or Angler. Not great. Yeah, I'll get in. Is there a reason to hold this Water Grave for any reason? I guess I should just play it. No real reason not to. Like, if they're playing Liliana of the Veil, then that would be a reason to hold it. But if they're Liliana Ang, they're probably minusing first anyway. They still haven't hit the land. Or the red source for that matter. Come on, deck. There's the kicker. Alright, so I can attack first. Maybe they push this for whatever reason. So we're one off of lethal. I can actually just dismember my own shadow end of turn if I really feel like it. Oh, they have a decay. Brutal. Alright, well I couldn't play around that barring Inquisition or Thoughtseize. There's a Scourge. It's big too. Come on, deck. Push. There's the Angler. Not the timing I was hoping for. Yeah, this is probably their best draw. Like Shadow I can deal with. It's the Scourge that I can't. They do have to be somewhat afraid of me being able to kill them on the crackback. It's like a Battle Rage just kills them with their Grimag Angler. I mean, this assumes nothing else happens. Definitely just throwing the Snapcaster onto the boot here. Crush. Shock and Shadow. Brutal. Alright, well that's exactly a 6/6 now. Alright, so just dismembering it doesn't really achieve a whole lot. Yeah, they for not drawing the sources of mana that they need, they've hit something good almost every turn. Alright, so we get to Angler here. I guess in the event we draw a Snapcaster, I'll want to keep a push. I mean, I can double block the Scourge and then pay full retail for a Dismember to trade off 2 for 1. And if they don't have a way to damage themselves, the Shadow itself isn't actually lethal. So like there's still a combination where I win here. If they go like red source bolt to the other Angler, then it'll be sad. But I mean, I'm kind of just dead to that anyway because of the Shadow being good. All right, but that's not the play. All right, we're in it. We're in it. Need a good draw step though. That's not it. Man, Snapcaster would have been like game. There's only one of those left. Attacking. I guess I'll go to 1. This probably just means they've got another threat. No? I mean, I'm dead to a source of mana now, basically. Thought Scour. Sure. Can I get a push or a Snapcaster? Shadow of my own. Alright, well I definitely feel like I should be attacking. I do have a Fatal Push in the yard. I think I should be attacking. Because like if I don't attack, any land from the opponent turns on their bolt and then just kills me. The issue is like they could very easily just have another way to kill a Shadow, and like a Shadow doesn't block. The Grimag Angler doesn't get pushed, whereas like the Grimag Angler can actually attack. I think I do just need to attack though to turn off potential red sources, and then just hope they don't have a removal spell. Like it kind of feels like they have to have it because like they don't have lands, they don't have more like more shadows of their own. Like, I don't know what it would be if not for more removal. Yeah, exactly. Like, I have to actually try to win at some point. Like, maybe they just have all red cards. That's the other possibility. But I think red is pretty close to a splash. All right, and there's the source. But we attacked, so they can't fetch shock it. Thoughtseize. Well, Thoughtseize doesn't do it. I think I'm just gonna jam it and then hope that they've got red cards rotting in their hand. I mean, if they've got the push here, we were always gonna die to it anyway, unless they're playing on like Stubborn Denial. Wow. All right. That was a game. That was a game. All right. So they're the Delirium package. So I'm pretty confident we want the spell bombs. It's gonna be a grindy game, so maybe Kolaghan's Command is good. Feed the Swarm also just like another good way to destroy a creature. And then it's possible I want the Aether Gust as answers to things like Renin 6 and Tarmogoyf, which is almost definitely in the opponent's deck. I mean, that's a lot of 1-for-1s, though. I'm not sure I want that many. What would I be taking out? In the mid-range matchup, I do like cutting some number of disruption spells, and I'm a shadow deck, so I'll cut the Inquisitions first, I guess. We need 6 more cuts. This is a lot of removal spells. 3 push, 3 gust, 2 feed the swarm, drown in the lock, dismember, trim, scour, and denial. I think I like the denial. Like, they're playing Renin 6 and various removal spells. Like, it's bad versus decay. I think I'm gonna cut the dismember, because like they very often just like don't kill a shadow or a scourge. Like, if they're playing the prowess creatures, which they're playing red and scourge, they might be. Like, Dismember's fine versus those, but so are all of our other removal spells. Yeah, 1-for-1 plan, you generally want to stay ahead. I agree with that. Yeah, maybe cutting 1 Stubborn Denial is smart, just because like the pieces that will probably matter are the creatures, and like Stubborn Denial doesn't deal with those. Let's try cutting 2. And then maybe this Kolaghan's Command is just frivolous. Like the games could go long though, and like Kolaghan's Command will be pretty excellent in that regard. I do need to cut 2 more cards pretty quickly though. I don't think it can be any of these really. Maybe it is just Stubborn Denial. Yeah, I like being able to counter their stuff, though. On the draw, let's cut 1 Battle Rage, and maybe just, like, another, like, the 3rd copy of Gust. Like, we've got so much 1-mana removal. Yeah, Kolaghan's Command does seem ambitious, but it's just going to be really, really excellent in a top decor, and I expect this matchup a good percentage of the time to come down to who can draw better, and, like, within, like, 3 draw steps, turns, like, 6 through 9. Sounds great. No Thoughtseize, but we've got just about everything else. Bunch of threats, a way to kill a creature. Shock, go. The opponent may be repping something like Veil of Summer. Gurmagingler also good. Gurmagingler probably our best threat versus them. There's just not a lot that touches it. Alright, Tarn is the worst fetch. I don't... If I draw Thoughtseize off of the Street Wraith, am I casting it here? I kind of just want to just play it slow. Like, next turn I can play a Sprite Dragon, and then on the turn where I actually plan on deploying a Shadow, I can cycle the Street Wraith. Like, I almost want to just hold up a Stubborn Denial here. I don't know that there's much that I can do. Like, I don't know that there's much that I could draw that would make me want to... like, use my mana. Like, if they cast, like, a Red and 6 here, I'm just, like, Stubborn Denialing it for forever. Alright, well, you can have that. Turbo on my Gurmag Angler for me, why don't you? Yeah, he took the stub. Alright, I think I'm just not even gonna fetch. I'll just untap and see what I draw. Hey, there's the Kolaghan's command. Alright, well, I would not be surprised if the Sprite Dragon died pretty much immediately, but it doesn't mean I'm not gonna play it. Like, I could just, cycle Street Wraith and get the Shadow down as a 1/1, but I don't want to getting red and 6'd pinged. Also, like, Sprite Dragon is probably just better in play sooner rather than later because of its ability. Also, like, if they kill this, then they're not killing a Shadow, at least with their first removal spell. And this thing is going to be pretty large. This is another thing that could get pinged by a Ren and 6. Maybe I should have actually cycled Street just to see if I hit a bobble. To get it out of range and just hit for another 1. Potential misstep. They don't have it though. Alright, so I got a little lucky. Sure, so you know that I am drawing a Shadow. That's pretty good. So now I'll lead on Cycle of Street Wraith. I'd love to draw a fetch here, because then these shadows get big. Thought Scour is good too. That will enable me to play the Gurmag Angler. And like if I hit another fetch here, then I can go like Shadow Angler. But this is probably pretty good. I think playing Angler is probably better than just playing 2 1/1s. But I mean, I could have a pretty good progression where I go like Shadow, Shadow, they play a thing, I feed it, and then they're all very large. But I think Angler is probably just really hard for them to deal with. I like playing the Angler, especially when the read is probably that they have either some shadows that they haven't been able to play yet, or just a bunch of removal. Hit another Thought Scour. Alright, well let's attack and then I guess play an Angler. And I do have a Kolaghan's command, so I guess I'll leave the Lurrus in the yard. Because I may want to Kolaghan's command it back. I don't really have any Snapcasters sticking around. But yeah, I think Gurmag Angler plays the best into potential removal spells. So like Decay doesn't hit it. Bolts don't hit it, pushes don't hit it. Trophy does. But it's pretty much only Trophy. Thoughtseize, yep. Annoying. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Shadow here, which means they'd probably take the feed. Unless they've got Veil, and they kind of played like they might have it on turn 1. Alright, so that can become a 5/5 at moment's notice. So it's kind of like, to what extent do I want to play around a Veil of Summer? And I kind of think I just don't play around it at this point. Like, I think I just go Swamp Feed and see what happens. And if they've got it, it sucks, but there's not much I can do about it. I could just hold up Kolaghan's command, but kind of run into the same issue, and it doesn't deal with the Shadow, even if it doesn't deal with the Shadow if it works. Yeah, let's try this and then cross fingers. Yeah, if they have Veil, like, it's gonna be good no matter what at some point. Do I attack for 3 in the air? Attacking for 3 in the air puts the opponent to 5, makes their shadows 8/8. That's probably dangerous. You know, I think I should just play a 1/1 and say go. Like, the benefit to attacking here is that if I can cast 2 spells next turn, the Sprite Dragon is just lethal. But I also just don't really have good blocks. I feel like this game is hinging on whether or not I attack with the dragon right now. I could also attack with the angler. Like, if I attack Sprite Dragon Angler, they're forced to block. And then their shadow still doesn't just kill me. If they've got... They can't have Sheer Wraith because they're companioning Luris. Like, this attack means they have to block. They'll be left with a shadow. They'll be at 5, meaning their shadow will be an 8/8. If they fetch Shock, their shadow will be 11 power. They can Peatlands to make it 12, which does kill me. But this attack seems good though, because then the Kolaghan's command could just be lethal. And like their shadows are gonna be so big, and I have no good way to get rid of them, that like attacking with the Angler and the Sprite Dragon is almost just like a removal spell plus hit you. Oh, I'm an idiot. I forgot how Shadow works. I am really bad. Alright, well now let's hope we don't die and then I can Sprite Dragon them. Alright, we're dead. I was stupid. State-based effects. That's why you don't Bolt Tarmogoyf most of the time. I think I'm resubmitting. Right? Yeah. Yeah, oof indeed. What I like to play first. Sounds good. Let's see if I can not mess this up. I've like done something stupid every game so far, it feels like. Oof. Alright, well no lands ain't gonna cut it. Yeah, this sounds good. Keep. Probably just bottom the Mishra's Bauble. Like, it's the only mystery. Like, this 6-card hand is very good. Like, if they cast Inquisition or Thoughtseize here, I'll Stubborn Denial it. And if they don't, I'll Thought Scour myself, then cast an Angler, and then hold up one of the other spells, and hopefully ride the Grimang Angler. So I'm hoping they Thoughtseize here, and I can Stubborn Denial. Alright, well, Inquisition I'm less happy about, just because, like, I want to counter the thing that has them losing life. But, I mean, I'm still happy to trade for this, I guess. And Angler is the thing that's hard to kill, barring a trophy. Does that change anything? I can't do it all. I think it's probably just better to play the Angler now. Fetch Shock my Blood Crypt first. Say yes. Thought Scour me. Angler. We're saying goodbye to one shadow. I mean, our hand's good as leftovers. So, like, the way I think we lose now is a really big Shadow or Scourge, which is a pretty wide net to cast, but I'm going to keep that in mind when I Thoughtseize next turn. Goyf, sure. Pretty tiny Goyf. Alright, well, this is what I mentioned. You don't really want to draw multiple Anglers, but I do have a Thought Scour to, like, mitigate that downside. I should probably just Thoughtseize and then use that info to determine whether or not I want to push or Thought Scour. Like, I don't necessarily mind taking a hit from the Goyf. Like, I could also just Thought Scour first, but I think I want to hold up the option of pushing, especially if I Thoughtseize and see a Veil that I don't want to take. Shadow, Shadow, Decay. Alright, well, their Decay is kind of rotting. Take a Shadow. And I think I'm just okay with them hitting me with a Goyf. Like, if they take this hit and then play a Shadow, I'm pretty sure I just pushed it and move on. And then if they don't play a Shadow for whatever reason, I can then Thought Scour targeting myself. Just don't want the opponent drawing Veil of Summer here to counter the push. And Luris not yet in hand. Yep. Mm-hmm. Alright, please no Veil of Summer. As far as I'm aware, most decks that play it play something in the realm of 2. Thank God. Whew. Thoughtseize. If I Thought Scour and hit a Street Wraith, a Bauble, or a Fetch, I can deploy second copy of Gurmag Angler, so it's probably worth it just to lead on the Thought Scour. Issue is, like, I could potentially grow the opponent's Tarmogoyf, but that doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. Also, like, if I go to attack next turn, I could be casting my Gurmag Angler pre-combat to re-shrink the Goyf, so it's probably good to just lead here. Hit another Thoughtseize, milling 2 lands. Alright, well, I guess I'll cast the Thoughtseize. Lots of windows here. Alright, well, I'm just going to take the Thoughtseize here. Abrupt Decay just straight doesn't deal with the Anglers. My dog's, like, very aggressively chewing on his toy right now. The actual only thing I'm scared of right now, I think, is the opponent just drawing a Battle Rage. I guess them drawing a Shadow, too, would be bad. Like, well, there's actually a good number of draws that I don't want to see. Like, Shadow, Scourge, Trophy. Trophy probably in few numbers. Redraw. Yep, that's a good sign. No Battle Rage. If they've got it, they've got it. Spell Bomb. I mean, that could cut off our other Angler, but they're still in no position to attack. Yeah, I've always had a dog. He's usually quiet, though. Alright, well, the opponent is forced to block here, which is good. And I suppose I should just cast my hand because it'll... Well, there's still things that I can conceivably take. And it'll also start fueling the other copy of Angler. Spellbomb was annoying, though. The opponent, I was gonna say they could put Luris into their hand, but yeah, not quite fast enough. If they hadn't changed that companion rule, we just straight lose though. Yeah, I've got a good pupper. Let me see if I can get him to make a guest appearance. Hey, doggo, come here. You want to say hello? Come here. This is Doge. He's a good boy most of the time. Okay, you can go back now. Thank you. I riled him up. Yeah, like Shadow can close really, really quickly. Like Jun's closing power is kind of just like smacking with the Tarmogoyf, and every once in a while, like Bloodbraid into something. But I mean, the threats out of Shadow can kill and cost 1 or 2 mana, whereas like the threats out of Jun's that are quick cost a lot of mana. Yeah, he was only a little confused. He's a doof like me. He gets it from me. He's a rescue. Alright. Definitely thought seizing. We don't have the bauble trick, so I'll just cycle first for the info. Okay, that could be relevant info. I'll shock the Watery Grave first. There's a chance we want to combo the Revolt. We want the Revolt at some point for this push. Almost definitely just playing Sprite Dragon extra anyway. Oh, we got Rakdos Shadow. So if I take the Scourge, the opponent could turn 1 the Scourge with the Lightning Bolt. I'm probably just going to take the Unearth. The Unearth is pretty annoying. Yeah, like I'm not super concerned about these bolts. Like they could combo kill some of my threats, but Unearth representing a second threat is pretty annoying. I'll just have to be wary of the bolts in my life total. Tortilla the Hun. I like that name. Pretty interesting deck though, because they're not playing Shadow, right? As evident by Prismatic Vistas. So maybe they've got to be playing like maybe this is a Blood Moon deck, so maybe I should be wary of that. And like Sprite Dragon isn't quite getting in as it stands anyway. Maybe I should just pass. Like they could conceivably cast a non-creature spell that I'm worried about, and like the Sprite Dragon really isn't going to be doing much anytime soon. Holding it's probably fine. There's the Scourge. It's a 1/1. Yeah, let's just push this thing off of a cliff. I could hold it to combo with the Sprite Dragon, but I don't think I'm gonna be playing the Sprite Dragon anytime soon. At least while I know the opponent's got lightning bolts. Yeah, I don't know why they're playing Prismatic Vista. I assume it's not Shadow. It could just be like a Rakdos Blood Moon control deck. Just pass again. Really don't know what's up, but I'm interested. Another Scourge. Yeah, it's a 1/1 for now. Any numbers of bolts targeting themselves would make their thing big. That's why I don't know how they're playing Vista. It's such a weird include. So at this point, am I just going to stop playing around Blood Moon? I guess we can Thought Scour myself and then get a stronger idea. So if I draw a shadow and I don't shock this, I can put myself down to 10, which means it dies to a bolt. So I guess I'll just untap one more time. Another land's not great. So, I mean, I could just play the Sprite Dragon, and if they try to bolt it, I can then Stubborn Denial it, then they'll have to use the other bolt. The issue is I just don't have very much to follow up with. Yeah, let's do it. Do I even attack? It can get their Sprite, their Scourge to be pretty big. But, I mean, I'm not blocking, so I guess I'm attacking. And then I'll just get basic island here if they try to bolt it. They might just wait because they know I don't have Ferocious, and like they can definitely play around the Stubborn Denial by just waiting. They should probably just wait. Like this bolt is not necessarily greedy, but it's definitely kind of hasty. Island. Stub. Like I'm just happy to like trade these things while I don't have a Ferocious creature. So there's one bolt. Imagine they use the second one. Oh, it's a Skelemental deck. Okay. Alright, well I guess I'm pretty much just dead then. If I draw a shadow, I might be in business. But that means I have to keep the Stubborn Denial. Because I don't want to just die to the bolt in their hand. So yeah, if I draw a shadow here, then I'm live. But if I don't, I'm just kind of dead. Shadow. Nope. Alright. Well, I guess I could block. I'm not technically dead. I do get to counter the Lightning Bolt with the second Stubborn Denial. The Ferocious on the second one will be turned on after the Sprite Dragon triggers a second time. And that does actually have my Sprite Dragon outsizing the Scourge, assuming they don't damage themselves. So I'm not dead, but it doesn't look good. Oh, they're being smart, though. They're just going to attack me first. Boo. Alright, well, I guess the plan is back to draw a shadow. Now they should bolt me. Stubborn. It really doesn't matter here. Alright, you got me. Yeah, that was a good play from the opponent, just attacking first. Alright, so I'm still not entirely sure what the opponent is doing. Feed the Swarm probably fine. But honestly, not sure of much else. They're playing Rakdos something or other. Prismatic Vista. It can't be Shadow. I guess I'll take out the Dismembers because Scourge is big. They're playing Skelemental Unearth, so Spellbomb probably good. Don't think I'm Ashiocking. Aether Gust is something I can deal with Skelemental. Maybe there's a reason to have some number of those. Let's see how it would look. Besides me needing to cut 4. Stubborn Denial looked kind of silly there, didn't it? Like, they have, like, Inquisition, Thoughtseize, Lightning Bolt, but none of those are necessarily great. I mean, they can counter pushes and, like, unearths. Those do seem good, but I think more often than not, having just a threat of our own or a removal spell is going to be better. That could be wrong. But, I mean, I like 2 Gusts. Like, the Gust is probably taking the spot of Stubborn Denial. Maybe I can play like 1 or 2 Stubborn Denials over like 7th Inquisition. Let's go first. Yeah, sounds good. Can Fetch Shock, get a Spellbomb down. Guess who's not playing around? Blood Moon. This guy. Yep. Bye, Shadow. I guess if they're worried about a threat dying, they take the feed. Okay. I guess I'll lead on Thought Scour because if I draw a fetch land, then I can play the Shadow. And if I don't, I'll just hold up. Oh, that works too. I mean, this leaves up the ability to lightning bolt the Shadow, so maybe I should just wait so it doesn't get bolted. Like any other fetch means it's not getting bolted, but then I open myself up to just having another Inquisition or Thoughtseize being good. Like, there's a good chance they just also, like, boarded out some number of their bolts. I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. Like, they do have to be afraid of a Street Wraith, but I mean, I guess now they don't. Yeah, so I mean, this was the reason to play the Shadow now. I guess they took feed the first time, so I expect them to take the push again. No? So them taking Battle Rage might just read that they don't actually have removal spells. Because like they might be afraid of a kind of combo kill. Well, that was a fine draw. Lead there. Agadeem's Awakening as a land. Cling, Dark Confidant, and the Seasoned Pyromancer. This Seasoned Pyromancer is going to be too good. Let's just take that. I am afraid of the Bob, but I can push it. I guess I could Thought Scour myself now. Maybe I hit the fetch. Like, I'm fine just, like, Fatal pushing this thing on my opponent's turn. Or on my turn. But as long as the Bob doesn't get a trigger, I'm, like, pretty fine. So I'll do this now in case I hit a land. I don't think I need to pop the Spell Bomb right now. I think this is a good time for this. Sprite Dragon. Alright, well, I'll hit you for 2. So then next turn, if I don't hit a land, I'll just like push the Bob, hold up a Spell Bomb activation. Maybe even just fire it off. Oh, they're playing their own Spell Bomb. I mean, they know about the push, so it makes some sense. Fetchland wouldn't be the worst here. Of course. It's always right after. Alright, I guess I'm going to play the Sprite Dragon and jam. No Skelemental, please. Well, if you Skelemental, my Shadow becomes an 8/8. Alright, well, there goes the push. Now I'm left without an answer for the Dark Confidant, other than my opponent's own life total. Bobble. Alright, well... Yeah, Skelemental is weak other than the fact that it could just surprise me, right? Alright, I think I'm gonna, Actually, I guess like I can bobble myself first to see if what's on top is worth drawing now with Spell Bomb. Bobbling the opponent doesn't really do anything given the Vista. We have a Snapcaster on top. Not great. I guess I should just get the card off of this now, especially before they're able to get the second half of this Pyromancer. Alright, and I'm 100% okay trading the Shadow for the Dark Confidant at this point. Like if they go land, cast Agadeem's Awakening, then it can get unfortunate. But this Bob, I think, is just gonna crush me. Like, and given that I have backup threat, I'm okay trading, I think. All right. So I'm happy I attacked, but I'm really not happy that this Bob is gonna go off. I know what this card can do. Cling. Yep, draw a card. Draw a card. Thoughtscour's good. Hit Unearth. Thoughtscour might power out this Angler. Yeah, I also think I'm okay right now. The Dark Confidant is such a powerful card versus Shadow if it can't get answered, though. They're going to grow my Shadow, though. That's nice. Liliana of the Veil. Oof. Alright, well, Cling has been used. Target player sacrifices a creature. I guess I can Thought Scour myself first just to get the info. Because, I mean, Sprite Dragon might actually just end up outsizing the Shadow. Mire. So that means our Shadow represents 7 power and 7 toughness. So I guess that means I'm going to keep the Shadow and go for lethal. They paid 3. Oh boy. Scourge, jeez. Alright, well I guess I kept the other thing. So I can fetch, play the Angler, and then I can, if I empty my graveyard, I can then hold up Snapcasters as a flash blocker. It's not great, but that does leave me with 2 potential lethal threats. The opponent's hand is just Unearth. And like the opponent also having a Cling means my graveyard isn't going to mean a whole lot moving forward. So yeah, I think I do want to just empty my yard to cast this Angler. Like I could keep something, but don't know that it's worth a whole lot. Because like this Snapcaster is almost definitely blocking. Yeah, I'm going to empty my yard. And then play the Mire, I think. The basic Swamp isn't gone, is it? Because that would be bad. No, basic Swamp's still in the deck. Alright, and then I'll discard the Steam Vents. Bob going off again. Another Cling. Their hand is Cling, Unearth. Redraw. Unearth, Mystery. So if they attack with Scourge here, I'm going to flash in a Snapcaster. Do I shock here for any reason? Annoying. I guess not. Yeah, I guess I'll just get basic. Alright, any removal spell wins it. Or Dark Confidant killing the opponent for me does it. Should probably just cycle the Unearth. I mean, I guess there's nothing that kills this Angler. Alright, removal spell, please. Boom. Close one. Attack Liliana. Just kidding. Opponent. Okie dokie. We didn't see many other targets for the Gusts. Liliana of the Veil is a doozy. I think I'll just bring in the other Inquisition and take out one of the Gusts. Like, the Gusts just really didn't seem that strong. Is 1 fine? Maybe I just want a Kolaghan's Command. Like, Kolaghan's Command does seem like it's got its value. Like, it can kill the Skelementals, and it can play around with the Lilianas, and buying back a creature seems very real. Is seeing Liliana any reason to continue playing Stubborn Denial? Probably. Let's do this. Shower time. Take me to the shower. Not really. Unless you want to. This is a risk. So we have a threat. It's the one that's easiest to kill. We don't even necessarily have a whole lot of answers to the opponent's threats, though. Like, if they Thoughtseize us and take our Thoughtseize, this hand can just break in too many ways. I'm going to ship it and not be happy. Alright, well, this makes me happier. I guess I'll bottom a Thought Scour. Like, I want the first answer to a permanent, and I think Double Inquisition is going to be good. I only need 1 Thought Scour to power out an Angler. Keeping Second Inquisition also good versus opponent's discard, because they can't take both. Took the feed, interesting. Hey, there's an Angler. Alright, well, I guess I'm going to just cast this Inquisition. We can still Gurmag Angler next turn by Thought Scouring and fetching next turn. So this looks like a good turn for Watery Grave, Inquisition, and the next turn I can Blood Crypt, Thought Scour, and then cast an Angler, hopefully. So I got Spell Bomb, Fatal Push, and Scourge. Well, I guess I'm going to take the Scourge. The Spell Bomb is annoying in that it may block us from playing the Angler, but they just saw our hand and they don't know that we've got the Angler. And like, they pop Spell Bomb in response to like a Thought Scour or something. There's not going to be a good window where they get to eat our entire yard. I think I'm just going to take the Scourge here. Like, they play a Nerf, and that could turn that on. But without lots of answers to their threats, I think I like just doing this. Maybe because I have Inquisition, it's better just take the Spell Bomb now to, like, help guarantee that I get to Angler. It's kind of close. Bobble. If I want to be really sneaky, I can, with the Bobble draw, adding Delta and the Bobble means that I can just get the Gurmag Angler in now. Bobble myself, so that way when I fetch, maybe they think I'm doing the Scry trick. Alright, so if they sack the Spell Bomb now, like, power to them. But even if they do, I've got good plays as follow-ups. So yeah, Spellbomb kind of a secretly good draw. Sorry, Bobble. Got to sneak in the Angler under the Spellbomb. Feed the Swarm, good draw. Alright, hopefully we can ride this Angler to victory. I'm assuming I've tracked the opponent's hand correctly. This is what they've got. Alright, I can bobble them first to get info, but I think this is just their hand, so I'll just lead on the Inquisition. Yeah, I tracked it correctly. And then I'm not going to pop this now, because I want it to be in my yard after they sacrifice Spellbomb. I mean, the opponent does have a good chunk of draws that I really don't want to see. Seasoned Pyromancer, for example, would be a doozy. I could bob. I think what's gonna happen is I'm gonna bobble myself. I guess at the opponent's end step, and then if I like the card, I can just Thought Scour the opponent, and then I'll draw it. And then if I don't like the card, I'll Thought Scour myself to get a fresh look. Alright, we're ahead, but not by a significant margin. Like, any threat here is very good. Liliana would be ridiculous. Oh, there's the Pyromancer. I was actually kind of scared, even more scared of Liliana. So, Silver Linings. This could find it, though. They even get a thing off of it. Yep. Alright, so... Bobble me. What is it? It is a Fatal Push. I think I'm just digging for more threats. Especially because I'm very scared of Liliana. There's a threat. Bobble trigger. Yep. Those were good. Alright, so now we get to Shock. Thoughtseize. Had the Lily. Alright. So we're in it now. I'll attack first, as to not influence the opponent's decision making. Probably just block with an elemental, yeah. Because like had I played the Shadow, maybe they block with a Pyromancer, because like they know they've got the mana to exile it next turn, and it's at least something to do with their mana moving forward. But yeah, that was a very good draw. Now I feel ahead, still not comfortably ahead. Like, there are still many draws that I'm afraid of. Liliana would still be annoying, but I get to keep something at least. Another Seasoned Pyromancer would be pretty terrible for me. That was bad. I mean, shocking it in means I get to at least hit for 5. Like, if I hit for 5 here and this is shocked, and the opponent could, like, make 2 things, and then if they have Skelemental, I just die. We know they're playing it. So maybe it's just safest to not shock it. Yep, hit you to 9. Do I play this tapped? I guess I probably should. There's no real reason to hold it. The opponent might be playing like Liliana's. I guess they'd Edict. Let's just play it and not get fancy. I guess an actual reason to hold it that could very reasonably come up is I want to actually shock it to grow the Shadow. I just don't know if I want to shock it yet. So yeah, maybe holding it was better. The opponent has seemingly drawn pretty dry though, so that's fortunate. Bobble not great. Yeah, I mean not shocking does open up the shadow to a lightning bolt, so I think it was actually a pretty significant blunder to not leave the option. And then I guess I'll want access to this card. So if the opponent draws like Inquisition or Thoughtseize, I'm going to want to not have the card on my turn. But I think if they draw Inquisition or Thoughtseize, that's also just actively good for me. So I think I'm pretty happy just doing this now and drawing the card. Castle Embereth, that's fine. Also good. So feeling good now. Tarn not great. So yeah, had I shocked, this would have represented lethal. I mean, playing it now still means that they have to block the shadow and take 5 going to 1, which is still a good spot. Man, you can tell that I'm rusty. I just like have made mistakes every single game. Alright, no Seasoned Pyromancer. That's the kicker. Okay, that's the kicker. It only blocks one thing, as long as they don't draw 2 answers or 2 like 2 creatures to block. Plague Engineer. Yeah. I mean, they're still in double chump block territory. Fairy. Fair enough. Literally, I think I want to just keep my life total high now. On account of the opponent being at 1, literally any amount of damage is good enough to kill them. So let's just stay as high as I can. Thoughtseize, not great. I mean, it doesn't change a whole lot. It doesn't have me dead to a Skelemental, so maybe it's just free to do it. Because like if they've got a Fatal Push, I could potentially be walking into a bad attack. I mean, I've got the Stubborn Denial, so it kind of is impossible. Alright, I'll, I guess, double chump trade you. This is kind of close. It's like, there's an argument just not even attacking. Because, like, Seasoned Pyromancer representing more bodies is annoying. I almost like just not attacking. They'll double trade. It's close. Let's just attack. I do think it's pretty close, though. Like, they'll trade with Shadow here. And, like, at worst, they'll have Seasoned Pyromancer. Yeah, like, forcing them to do it is fine. Wow, they're just drawing pretty dead, though. Which is fortunate, obviously. Alright, and I'm drawing, as one might say, the opposite of dead. Alright, so you'll block with a Elemental. The consideration to not attacking is like we know that they get to make this play of exile their Pyromancer to make more blockers. So like if I draw a removal spell before they draw a removal or a threat, then like we just get to kill them through their blocks. But it's probably best just to get the things off the board. If they somehow draw another land, we win. They've been pretty good at drawing lands so far. Cling, that's a redraw. I could just stub it. They can escape it though. So it's probably, I should probably just let this one happen. It's close. Like if they play if they play a removal spell now, I could just Stubborn Denial that. That doesn't do anything. It's just another redraw. I think redraws are fine. They've got another redraw in their yard in this Cling, so like I kind of want to, like, if I'm going to Stubborn Denial a redraw, I think I'd rather it be the 4-mana one. Yeah, I'm gonna counter the 4 mana redraw. Not necessarily excellent, but it's the one Stubborn Denial will be kept in. Alright, they're dead again. Looks like we're moving on to 3-0, despite a mistake nearly every game. Jeez. Ice cream, yeah. Maybe hot chocolate. I actually do have both in my household right now. So many options. This sideboard hasn't looked too good. I've boarded in the feeds a lot. I've boarded in the feeds and the spell bombs pretty much every time. I guess I can't move it right now. The spells haven't been good, but I haven't played against any like Path to Exile decks. I think Gust is still probably worth it to have, but 3 might be a bit much. And then Stroke is obviously not useful yet. It's gonna be a long league. I have to be like the world's slowest shadow player. I think out everything and then still make mistakes. Already made a $2 profit off of this league selling that ticket. We didn't win the die roll. I demand a recount. Keeper. Sounds great. And the opponent is mulligan. Nice. Only an Inquisition or Thoughtseize can make this hand better. They've gone to 5. Uh-oh, I think we're playing Tron. Got the hair. The hairs always stick up on my neck when the opponent mulligans to 5. Mine, map, go. Oh, maybe not. Could be oops all spells. In which case, Stubborn Denial will be good. Hey, and there's the Thoughtseize right on time. Alright, so this hand's officially the nuts. What you got? Turn Timber Symbiosis. Yeah, looks like oops all spells. Consideration to just holding the Thoughtseize for a later turn. But I think I'm going to want to be playing Shadow and holding up Stubborn Denial pretty quickly. So I'm just going to fire this off now. Yeah, it's oops all spells. I guess I'm just going to take the Undercity Informer. Like, Talisman is unfortunate. Yeah, this if you want to grind like trophies, I guess you play this deck. But I wouldn't play this deck for fun. So unfortunately, Stubborn Denial is not going to counter the combo. Would have countered this Talisman. And again, we know their top card is a Turn Timber. So I guess I'm taking the Undercity Informer and letting him have this Talisman. But I could just die. Yeah, they're definitely playing this Talisman. Like I could say, like I can hold up Stubborn Denial next turn, but it just isn't gonna work out. If we can somehow Thought Scour both of the opponent's Narcomoebas, they'll never get them back. Alright, so there goes the Talisman, Turn Timber, and this are double-sided. Other Turn Timber. Alright. I mean, I guess I'm holding up a Thought Scour. If I Thought Scour myself and hit a fetch, I could play a Shadow. The issue is, like, so many of these cards just aren't going to do a lot. I mean, I just, like, have to... I think the way I'm winning this game is just turboing out a Shadow. And, like, getting on the board quickly. So I think I'm going to take the high-risk line of Thought Scour now. It's like, also, if I hit Angler, that's another thing I can do. Alright, there we go. Alright, so this will get Watery Grave again. Play a Shadow. Because, like, the way I'm losing this game is the opponent just, like draws the combo. So I think getting the Shadow into play might just cut off one more turn that the opponent has to look for it. Oh, man, they have it. Just drew it anyway. Alright, well, I'll let them combos just so you guys can see it on the recording, in case you don't know how it works. So they reveal their deck. Are they playing Leyline in the main? They are. And one Pact of Negation, good to know about. So their Narcomoebas will mill. They'll come back. They will trigger. They also got Nexus of Fate in the deck. I guess the Creeping Chills just kill me. But they'll trigger the where are they? The Sword of the Meeks to come back. They'll then sacrifice artifacts via Sword of the Meek and their talismans to get back. It's some artifact creature. I never remember the name of it. Anyway, they get back the artifact creature, and then they cast the artifact creature by sacrificing... They exile 3 artifacts from the yard to get into their hand. They sacrifice the artifacts to put it into play, and that triggers Vengevines. Because they've cast the Spy and then the artifact creature. Alright, so... Spellbomb will be good, assuming they don't have Leyline. Disdainful Stroke hits the Balustrade Spy. Necromentia should also be quite good. Feed the Swarm will hit the ley lines. Aether, the Ashiok could hit combo pieces, but that seems kind of far-fetched. Luris is going to be bad. All of the removal is actually just unplayable. Not the Drown, though. A Drown has a counterspell. And that's 60. Yeah, so interactive. Much excite. Indeed. This kind of just seems like how we're boarding here. Yeah. Run it. And then we just hope they don't have the ley line, because if they have the ley line, then most of our good disruption spells don't do anything. Alright, well... Stubborn Denial is unfortunately our weaker way to interact. I think I got a mulligan. It's like 1 land too many, no good fast threat. I don't think double Stubborn Denial is what we're looking for. This hand's good. This hand's very good. So, I guess I'll turn 1 a Spell Bomb. And then, if they've got the ley line, I'll turn 1 the Spell Bomb. If they don't have the ley line, I'll just Thoughtseize, probably. They've mulliganed to 5, maybe digging for that ley line. But yeah, if they don't have double ley line, I'm pretty sure they can't win through an instant speed Grave Hate and the Spell Bomb. They could, however, be playing Thoughtseize, so maybe that's a reason to just get the Spell Bomb down now. It's also probably just fine to save the Thoughtseize for a pre-combo turn and just make sure I can get the Spell Bomb down. I think we're in a good spot here. Exactly. This is with a deck in a nutshell. If they don't have the ley line, like, they just can't beat the Grave Hate. Modern. Modern problems require modern solutions. Yeah, I don't think I'm changing anything. Again, Ashiok could be a consideration, but it seems a bit slow. If I Necromentia, I don't even know what I'm naming. It might just be... I can't name Narcomoeba because I still just die to the Creeping Chills. Yeah, I guess I'll think about that when I get there. Submit. Where's my 1-mana artifact? There it is. So I've got the Feed the Swarm. I can Thought Scour the opponent to potentially turn on the Drown in the Lock to counter the first Spy. I mean, this hand's probably too good to mulligan. The opponent has also mulliganed. They kind of like have to mulligan aggressively. Alright, they've got Leyline. Do they only have one or do they have two? Alright, they've got one. Alright, so this means I can't even Thought Scour the opponent until after I Feed the Swarm. Battle Rage, not exactly what I'm looking for. The issue is, like, I also need to get my own kind of pressure going. Which means I'll probably end up needing to Thought Scour myself because my only meaningful way to pressure the opponent right now is the Grimrag Angler. Yeah, I think I'm gonna Thought Scour myself. Just because, like, I have the Angler. It's like my only good way that I know I can get on the board. Like, also, like, the Thought Scour might feed me into more disruption. Well, ideally it will. Like that. Alright, Feed the Swarm. So if their play on the following turn is the 3-mana creature with the 1-mana activated ability, I could just be boned. I mean, if they don't play it now, though, I can potentially Thoughtseize their combo piece. We'll have a land. Alright, well, I mean, I guess this is pretty easy. Just Thoughtseize into Angler. I just have to hope they don't have 2 copies of the Balustrade Spy. They don't. They've only got... Wait, why didn't they kill me? Oh, they don't have black mana. That's the issue. Alright, well, I'll take the combo piece. Had they had a single black mana, I was dead. So I get to keep no cards. Kind of unfortunate, because I would have loved to have been able to Snapcast or something. But I also need to get pressure. So they need black mana and the combo piece to kill me. There's the black mana. Stubborn Denial's not gonna do it. If I drew a land, it would actually be good, because like I could potentially drown something. But I mean, as it sits, not quite getting there. Alright, so I need to dodge the opponent drawing a Balustrade Spy or an Undercity Informer. So I'm assuming there are 7 hits that just kill me. Yeah, this is I would say it's garbage. Like, I don't think it's healthy for Modern, like, in the long run, but I mean, not much can be done. So is there a reason to flash in a Snapcaster just as a way to attack? So that if I Battle Rage my Angler and I attack with a Snapcaster, it has me attacking for 12, which is not quite lethal. But I mean, this Snapcaster does cut a turn off of the clock if I Battle Rage the turn following. So I think I probably should, especially because like the Snapcaster probably isn't flashing anything back in the span of this game. I need like land would be good. Okay. So the issue is the opponent only has 2 cards in their yard, so like the Drown isn't even a counterspell yet. I mean, if I can dodge it for exactly 1 more turn, I think I can kill. I guess for whatever reason, I should just continue to hold the Drown up, like as opposed to playing Battle Rage. I don't know that double Stubborn Denial is going to be worth anything. Like if they somehow have a spell that's important. Like I also like I don't kill them without with the Pact still in their hand. I mean, I guess I could Battle Rage next turn, and then when they Pact the Battle Rage, I can then Stubborn Denial it then. And if they like Pact again, they can't win through like double Pact triggers. So I mean, I guess I'm holding up double Stubborn Denial and just hoping to dodge the top of the library again. I mean, it's not a good feeling, but that's where I'm at. Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at. Lock the top of the opponent's deck. Can I dodge? I feel like my opponents always draw the combo. Hey, we dodged. Sick. Doing pretty good. I think that was the first match where I didn't make any errors. So that's good. 2 1s across the board. Opponent's making me work for it. 2 hours into this stream/recording. But yeah, it always feels nice to be fighting for the trophy though, like the first time back on a deck. These Feed the Swarms have been really, really good though. Like I almost wished I had more. Like against like Shadow and like Jund and stuff, like a kill spell is fine. Like against Jund, you don't necessarily want to be 1-for-1ing. Maybe not even necessarily versus Shadow, but I mean like an unconditional removal spell is always welcome. Got a keeper. It's kind of clunky, but got to redraw ways to interact with the opponent and the threat. The opponent has mulligans and played Verdant Catacombs. Interesting. Another Stubborn Denial. I guess if I draw Inquisition or Thoughtseize, I'm going to wish I can cast it, so I'll cycle now. No. Alright, well, I'll hold up a Stubborn Denial then. And a Dismember. Yeah, it's true. Trophy watch anytime is nice. Breeding Pool off of a Verdant. Interesting. Alright, looks like we might be playing Uropile. Shock. Oops, I misclicked. More Stubborn Denials. all of the stubborn denials. Pass. This particular hand not very strong versus Uropile. Ice Fang? Is it Bant Pile? Could be Bant Pile. Alright, well I think I should just dismember this now. Like the opponent could be playing forces. No, like they could be playing the version that blinks, and like Ice Fang is just gonna be a headache in general. So I really don't want them blinking this and fading the dismember. Like if they forced it, I would just stubborn denial it, no issue. Noble, yeah. So it's the Bant deck. This also seems like a pretty rough matchup. And then we get to play an Angler on the upcoming turn. Bobble's like an okay draw. It's actually a pretty good draw here because this means that we get to keep up a stubborn denial by adding a card to the yard. They've got a bird on top. Sure. Not going to be a whole lot we can stubborn denial out of this deck. I guess like the things I'd be having an eye out for are Path to Exile and Collected Company. But yeah, these Ice Fangs are going to be a big headache. Any other snow permanent means that I'm going to have a bad time. Keenan. Yeah. Bird. Yeah, we knew about that one. No attack, which could have been for 2. No snow permanent either. Guess I'll attack, then play a shadow. I could play the Luris, but the Luris isn't worth a whole lot right now. I think I want to just hold up triple stubborn denial. Oh, they're courting. Well, that I can stubborn denial. I haven't seen a core deck in quite a while. I guess they're playing Keenan, so they very likely they're playing some kind of combo. Do I want to fetch for a basic swamp? Or no, it doesn't actually change the fact that I can't hold up a double stubborn denial. I could get Watery Grave if I really need, so I'll just play this as a 7/7. Sorry, 5/5. Then if I really need to, I can fetch Shock. I mean, any snow permanent means that this Ice Fang is going to be stupid. If they block the shadow with it, maybe we can Luris it back. It's not nothing. So unfortunately, we're one off of threatening lethal between an 8/8 shadow and an Angler. If they attack in the air, that changes. But they've got blockers for days. Yeah, this matchup seems on the rough side. Yep, can't stop that. Does this put him into play? Yeah. Non-human creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Rough. Pretty good. Alright, well, that turns on Ice Fangs. Oof. We need a removal spell for this Keenan, or I'm just going to die to it. Not exactly. I mean, I guess I'm attacking with a shadow and then lurising back a shadow, but it has me putting down Stubborn Denial. Doesn't feel great. But it's just about the only play that I can make. Like, I'm weak to Chord and stuff, but like holding up Stubborn Denial in the face of a Keenan just doesn't seem like a winning strategy. Keenan. A Regal Force? Holy moly. I've never had that played against me in Modern. And then, but here we are on the 4-0 bracket, I guess. Street Wraith. Is there some way that Temur Battle Rage wins it? I mean, I'm not winning this game continuing on, so maybe, like, I guess I'm just gonna see what we find. Sprite. I mean, I guess I'm attacking with Shadow. They can block with the Ice Fang again, but as far as they're aware, we can just recast it, so that might not be super enticing. And they might make some kind of block that prevents them from dying to a Battle Rage. We've got 16, so if they block with 2 toughness and they have the Rage, they just die. So they've got to be worried. Not super worried, though. Yeah, they're somewhat worried. And I'll play this, so if I Stubborn Denial, it's starting to grow. Not feeling confident about this. It wasn't worth it to Sprite Dragon attack for 1, probably. The Regal Force, holy moly, that was a draw 5. This is a brew I can get behind. Until they play Uro, then I'm off board. Uro's great. That's the problem. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Brick? Crater Hoof. Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, does it? I've got a good number of blocks. I'm not necessarily dead here. So let's go to block. All right, this is going to be a lot of math. A lot of really weird math is about to happen. All right, so as it stands, this has me taking 1 10 trample, so 11 trample, and then gaining 3, so effectively taking 8. So I guess if I block like... So what if I did that? This has me still taking 10, gaining 3, effectively taking 7. That still has me dying. I really want this Keenan dead is the issue. So what if I did that, 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 and then not blocked here? Then I'm not gaining the life is the issue. This has me taking... I guess I don't even have to block with that at that point. So this has me taking 1, And then 5 is 6. And then I'm gaining 3. All right, let me, oh, okay. Okay, so take 1, take 5, right? Because this is 12 minus 7 is 5. So that's taking 6, so it's be a -1. I'm gaining 3, so I'm going to +2. Which means my shadow will live from blocking Keenan. Their Keenan will live, but my 2 creatures will live. And then, like, I'm live to a battle rage. Yeah. That seems like the block. I mean, if they've got anything else to mess this up, then, you know, is what it is. So I should be going to 2 here if my math is right. Yeah. And then I need to find a battle rage. Battle rage wins it. There are 2. 2 and 41. And some redraws. I didn't exile any to like a Thought Scour, right? Alright. Can I battle rage, please? Well, if I'm going to dismember, I have to do it for full retail. So I can block Crater Hoof. If they block with just like 1 flyer, I can full retail dismember it. That means I'm not casting this Angler. I'm 1 card off because like I can't pay any life. So I think I'm just passing and being sad about it. And Keenan is just continually going rampant. Maybe that would have been a reason to actually just throw the Sprite Dragon under the bus, because that was the 1 extra point that I needed to kill the Keenan. So like effectively infinite mana here. Oh, I should have... I'm stupid sometimes. Yeah, I should have just killed that. There's so many things I just die to. Beast Whisperer. Yeah, my hope in my head was I like can like ambush some kind of attack that they would think kills me. I mean, I'm still drawing to only Battle Rage is the issue, you know? So I think this is fine. I'm going to hope they don't hit another Crater Hoof. Alright, they do. Okay, we're dead. Not beating second Crater Hoof for sure. But yeah. Alright, Aether Gust seems good, finally. They're playing Chord, which would be a reason to play Dispel, but that doesn't seem great. I think I'm going to play the feeds again, just because Keenan is so important. Like, I'm on the play, I can kill a bird. See, I don't necessarily think I'm winning had I killed that Keenan, but I definitely have a shot, because like, I'm still drawing to Battle Rage. Lurrus looked good there, but I don't think it's going to be good more realistically. And then the Stubborn Denials did look kind of weak. Like, it countered Chord, but that was it. Maybe I keep 2. Inquisition Thoughtseize seems good. Battle Rage is kind of necessary. I mean, I don't think the opponent is actually going to be removing the threats that I have, so I think I can cut 1 threat. But I mean, everything else looks pretty good. Like, cut it. I don't think I want to cut another threat. Not cutting removal, that's for sure. What's up? You missed a very weird game. I think I probably had a chance. I had a chance of winning if I like top decked Battle Rage, but I didn't, and like I could have lived like probably 1 more turn to try to top deck it again. So my odds were still really low, but like need to cut 1 more. Yeah, I really don't want to cut my other Sprite Dragon. Maybe it is just another feed. Yeah, I've got a lot of removal. It's like 3 pushes, feed, dismembers, aether gusts, drown in the lock. That's a good handful. Yeah. Yeah, keeper. It's not fantastic, but we can fill the yard pretty quickly. We don't yet have an angler, so I guess I could kind of use a pseudo scry trick. I could bobble myself, see if I want to draw the card. It's a polluted delta. I don't think I want that. So I will shock and just thought scour myself now. Another Snapcaster. Sure. There goes our feed. Yuck. Island is like probably our worst find. I mean, although we do need mana for like Snapcaster, so it's like lands are not the worst. I guess second Battle Rage was our worst draw. Mystic, yep. Cycle. Drown. I could just drown the Mystic. Probably should. Like I can Inquisition here, but I can also Inquisition next turn. The strength of Inquisitioning now is like next turn I have the option of Snapcaster Inquisition, but I like cutting off the acceleration. Shocking no matter what. Yeah, let's just get this thing out of here. And then like the nuts draw coming up would be, I guess, an angler. No next land? Wow. Okay. Alright, well I'm definitely going to try to redraw to a removal spell with that information. I can't quite Snapcaster or Drown or Feed the Swarm quite yet, so I'll just lead on the Thought Scour. I could Thought Scour the opponent, because then it makes Snapcaster Drown a better play, just like as a good counter spell. Not impossible. I think I just rather just continue building my own graveyard for now, though, because like if I hit Garamrag Angler, I am going to want targets for these Snapcasters. It's a cute play, but I think I'm going to Thought Scour myself. Hit a Sprite Dragon. So I could Inquisition now, or I could just get the Sprite down. I mean, Sprite is going to be my biggest clock. But I do like being able to Inquisition, Snap Inquisition. If I hit a land off the top, I get to do it all. I think I really want the clock, though. Like, if I Inquisition them and they've got another thing to do, which the odds are very high, I'm going to wish I had just, like, gotten the Sprite Dragon into play and could start clocking. So I think I'm going to get the Sprite down and then see if I can ride it. Yeah, I mean, another good thing about Thought Scouring myself is, like, I could potentially find, like, Dismember, Fatal Push to Flashback with a Snapcaster. The opponent found the land. Lucky. Yeah, I mean, double Snapcaster is a little clunky. I think I like keeping the Inquisitions. Because, like, while they have lots of dorks, their powerful pieces are really important. Like, their Keenans are really important, and their chords to get Keenans are really important. Still can't Snapcaster something effectively. Can't quite Inquisition and something effectively either. Not even at a low enough life total to be able to cast Shadow. Yuck. So, like, the best case scenario is, like, I could Snapcast a Thought Scour myself. If I somehow hit a land, I could then Inquisition. It's the high upside play, but I think I'm going to take it. Because, It's like the odds that the Inquisition it like hits their only good play is pretty low, especially after they didn't do anything on 3 mana. Like I could take a Chord, that could be a thing that we haven't seen yet that could be worth taking. But the upside of being able to do it all, I think, is great. Also, is like, I'm even if I don't hit the land, I'm not convinced that Inquisitioning and doing nothing else is better than just making this play. And again, I want to target myself because if I hit like a Dismember or a Push, second Snapcaster would have a good target. Hit Thoughtseize. Well, I mean, that's fine. You think one of the snaps is going to be an Ambush Viper? It just might be. We'll see what happens. Not liking how this is panning out. I mean, fetch land next turn would be pretty good. Because like we could Thoughtseize, Fetch Shock, play a Shadow, and we'll Thoughtseize first, get some info. See if I want to like Snapcast or something. Yeah, this is a weird one. Unfortunate. Ooze. Alright, well we're not super afraid of that. It's gonna annoy the Snapcaster, so it looks like you get your Ambush Viper wish. Street Wraith. I mean, Street Wraith powers out Shadows. These are all like fine things to have. I guess I'll just lead there. It's more ooze food. There's lots of ooze food already, though. My Street Wraith, second Street Wraith, Elvish Mystic. So definitely want to play a Shadow here. So I guess that means I'm Thoughtseizing. That'll make the Shadow bigger. Please no Veil of Summer. Poop. Oh, it's just another Ice Fang. Yeah. They've got Death Touch. They do have Uro. They've got Double Chord and a Beast Whisperer. So they're going to have access to still just, I guess, 5 mana now. I have Stubborn Denial for the first chord. Maybe I should take second chord. It's probably just Beast Whisperer. Like, Beast Whisperer I just don't have a good answer to. And any game where that gets going, I think I can't really win. Uro is kind of hard to take here. Like, I could take chord and then just, like, plan on Stubborn Denying the second one. But then I still think I'm going to have a hard time to this Beast Whisperer. Yeah, Beast Whisperer is going to end me. I think you put that well. So let's take the Whisperer. So this is the leftover. And then these things have Death Touch now, so I'm not going to throw this into them quite yet. Like, I might just end up Battle Raging that. I definitely think I need to be getting a Shadow in. Honestly, maybe not. Like, the Shadow is not attacking until the turn where it's going to be lethal. So maybe I should just Inquisition to take out the double chord possibility. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Like, this also just continually grows the sprite. Because, like, this also turns on Ferocious for the Sprite Dragon. I like this. Take a chord. And I guess I could attack with Snapcaster. But then I don't have a good block on Ooze. It's like they can just eat 3 creatures. I'm going to hold back. And then probably just block with Snap. Well, they can't sit back on Uro yet. If they cast it now, they can get into it next turn. But I mean, that was always going to be a concern. I mean, Uro's just one of those, like, messages. Like, you can Inquisition or Thoughtseize it, but, like, it's just still in their yard. Jeez, they do Keenan. Rough. I mean, yeah, resolves. So now they've got a lot of mana. They're just gonna chord now or play Uro. Uro. They might even just chord with this thing on the stack because it's another thing to chord with. Okay, they don't. They played Verdant. They played Uro. They don't have an attack with Ooze anymore. So that was an okay draw. So we know their hand is chord. They can chord for 2 at end step. If I shock this in, I have snap, stub, snap. Or sorry, stub, snap, stub. Say yes to that. Play a shadow. That's a 5/5. Sorry, I don't have stub, snap, stub, but I do have snap something. Right, now we gotta face down the Uro. Yeah, like I said, this matchup does not seem very good. Might have to play faster if I can somehow win this game. We're not gonna have much time left. Just activating Keenan, yeah. Hoof me. Hoof, there it is. Acidic slime. There goes my red source. Yeah. So there goes that out. It's a shadow at least. I mean, if I can find the red source moving forward. I still don't have a fatal push in my yard. Can't even snap feed anymore. Yeah, I gotta just play another shadow. I mean, I'm live to drawing a red source that I can fetch shock. I mean, if I fetch shock, go to 5, shadows are 8/8. That means a single shadow can do 16 minus blocking toughness. It's not great. Alright, this is getting stubbed. Trigger. Alright, now the absolute, like, the floor on what the opponent can do here is Uro. The most powerful card to be printed all year. I was gonna say in the past few years, but that's not even true, right? This Oko exists. Hoof. Bird. Okay, I can deal with that. I mean, I like need to find removal for this Keenan, or this is gonna keep on happening. There's the removal for Keenan. I guess I'm just gonna pay full retail on it. Could get him with Snapcaster here. Issue with getting him with Snapcaster is like then their attacks could become good. Like this has Death Touch, this has Death Touch, this has Death Touch. Like my out is probably just like finding red source. How many creatures are there for them to eat? I've got just like 2, right? Yeah, 2. They've got enough. Yeah, it's not great, but I'll send. Like, I need to keep them somewhat low, especially if they plan on bringing Uro back. It's like these death touchers are so annoying. Like I have to like one shot them or else I'm not winning. Uro. So it's just yield. Oh, they drew Beast Whisperer. Jeez. Time to go off. I mean, I win if I draw Battle Rage and can get in with the Sprite Dragon, right? Because it'll be a 7/7 double striking. That's 14. They've only got three things to block within the air, but they can gain life off of Ooze is the issue then. Street Wraith. I mean, I could Snapcaster I can Snapcaster Dismember, which has me going down to 4, and then I'm still live to Fetch Shock Battle Rage. I go to 1. That has me not cycling Street Wraith. I mean, it's not doing much else, unfortunately. Like, I've got Snap Stub for a turn. I think I kind of have to make that play. I'll just pass and then hope the opponent doesn't attempt to kill me. But yeah, this Beastmaster is going to be pretty stupid. Yep, gain a life. And I can't even, like, Snapcaster Snapcaster Dismember now, because if I go to 4, they've got 1 Exalted trigger. Yeah, it doesn't work out. Uro time? Oh no. Something bigger. They got the Hoof anyway. Just gonna hard cast the Hoof. Hoof. No, my Disdainful Stroke is here. Yeah, I didn't know that they were playing stuff like Whispers. Like, seeing Cord and Hoof, then there's a reason to bring in Stroke. But I can't even cycle into it if I wanted. It's not gonna do it. I think I just die. This is a weird way to end it, but this is a pretty cool deck that I haven't seen before. Or at least I haven't seen it work before. Yes, quite dead. That'll do it. Everything has trample. GG. Alright, so I mean we ended on a 4-1. That's pretty good. It always feels bad to get to the potential trophy earning match and then come up short. But I mean, honestly, with the number of mistakes that I made that league, I would feel kind of bad had I ended up with the trophy. Because like honestly, like I think I made like one medium to big mistake in like the first 3 matches and got lucky and escaped them all. So I'll do a quick deck tech for the purposes of the recording. This deck felt pretty sweet. Again, it's one of my all-time favorites. It's just a high synergy, high power level deck where Chaos said it best earlier. Like, so sometimes it's clunky, but then sometimes it feels like you're playing Legacy versus like a standard deck. Like this deck is really powerful. I'm not convinced that the Luris is good. It was just a 3-mana creature that I felt like trying out, and it was good like 1 or 2 games, but more often than not, it was just a 3-mana 3/2 lifelink, which isn't necessarily what this deck wants, especially being a shadow deck. I'm playing 3 Gurmag Anglers instead of 4 because I didn't want to draw too many of them, and we even saw in I think 3 games, the second copy of Gurmag Angler almost bit us in the butt. We were like able to just narrowly have like all of the cards to be able to deploy the second one, and sometimes even inconveniently still. So I like not having the 4th Angler because second copy can be so bad and third copy can be unplayable. They definitely have some diminishing returns. But as a next step in that consideration, I like finding at least another powerful threat to play, because Grixis Shadow really only has 2 consistent strong threats, and those are Gurmag Angler and Death Shadow. So I think finding another heavy hitter is apt, especially when I'm not playing the full 8 Anglers and Shadows. And I think Sprite Dragon filled that void pretty well. It's not big the turn it comes down, but it can definitely grow pretty quickly, especially in this deck with many spells, 27 to be exact, that trigger it. So So yeah, I think Sprite Dragon's a worthy include. It looked pretty impressive in some spots and underwhelming in others. So I mean, I know other people have tried it in the past and have liked it, and some haven't liked it. It's a pretty split chord on that one. I mean, I'm still also split myself, not convinced this is the thing that should be in there, but I think it's probably better than just like another Snapcaster, because like Snapcaster doesn't really close the game. It's more of a grindy tool, or a Sprite Dragon can actually close, given a good progression. Obviously, Battle Rage is a kind of a cornerstone of the deck. Don't think I actually cast a Battle Rage this entire league. Had it in my hand a few times though. It just never really came up. The Drown was good. It's just another removal spell and can sometimes be a counter. It's not super reliable, so I don't like having a whole lot of copies. So I think 1 is still probably fine. I like the number of hand disruption spells that we have, so I'll probably keep 7. I don't see myself going up to 8, but 6 seems like it might be too few, so I think 7's a good middle ground. I like playing the 3 copies of Fatal Push. Generally, I like you kind of need to get stuff out of the way of the anglers and the shadows for them to really hit hard. Since this deck could operate like a combo deck, it's not necessarily always important to be able to kill your opponent's creatures. You can kind of just like power through them and mow them over. But I mean, Fatal Push is just the most efficient removal spell to be printed in the past half a decade, so it's kind of hard to not play at least 3. I mean, all in all, the deck felt fantastic, at least as far as the main deck is concerned, excluding, like I said, jury is out on the Sprite Dragon, and the Dolores really wasn't super impressive. I could be convinced to go down a copy of Stubborn Denial. The Stubborn Denials were good, but I mean, in a very heavily mid-range meta, where the pieces of the game that matter tend to be the creatures, Stubborn Denial could look a little bit weaker. And like even some of the prominent combo decks like Oops All Spells that we played against don't even have a spell based combo. It's literally creatures. So even versus some combo decks, the Stubborn Denials could be relatively dead. So maybe we go down on those. Although I think Stubborn Denial is still the best reason to play blue probably. I guess like the most criticism I have is probably towards the sideboard. Kolaghan's Command is an excellent grindy tool, but 3 mana is kind of a lot. And a lot of the removal these days is kind of exile based, and also Kolaghan's Command just like has a hard time keeping up with Uro. But what mid range grindy tool doesn't have a hard time keeping up with Uro? Still really like the Gusts. Disdainful Stroke, kind of my oddball counter spell, but I mean it definitely has its really strong spots. We didn't see any really strong spots here. We probably wouldn't good in the last game of that last match, but even then probably not game winning. But I mean it would have been fine. This Angel Stroke has its spots. I'm not convinced it's earned its own slot in the sideboard though. Didn't bring in the spells, but again these are for the Path to Exile decks where we expect to have a relatively bad matchup because like they can get rid of our shadows and stuff pretty easily. So didn't see any matchups where that's good, but I expect them to still be pretty good, at least out of the board. The spell bombs were fantastic. Never had a chance to bring in the Ashioks. The Feed the Swarms were very good. I think I might want to go up on those. Just like the subtle synergy of being able to like also grow a shadow is kind of fun, and obviously being able to kill Leyline of Sanctity is really great. We were able to kill an Oops All Spells player because we were able to nuke the Leyline of Sanctity, so that was nice. Necromantia also saw me brought it in once and just didn't see it. I am concerned that I have too many 3 mana spells in the sideboard. In fact, I've got, I believe, 5. And like this deck only has 17 lands, which isn't a lot. Like redraws aren't necessarily guaranteed to be lands, so 3 mana spells can be a liability, which is another reason why I'm not super convinced about the Slurus in the main deck. But I mean, Ashiok I think is powerful enough and a hoser enough where if you can hit that 3rd mana source and stick it, it should just be enough to push you or me to victory, whoever's playing it. But yeah, I like the sideboard. I think I would probably change the Stroke. I might go down in Aether Gust. Necromantia's experimental. I'm not convinced, and I probably might not even play Kolaghan's Command. Like it's a great grindy tool, but this deck kind of has difficulty fighting the grindy matchup. Like against the grindy decks, I feel like you kind of have to take the aggro stance. You can kind of grind decently well versus the control decks, I think, because like you can leverage your various counter spells, but when the counter spells are more dead versus, say, like other shadow decks or like Jund, for example, I think you just kind of have to sneak under them and then leverage the spells to push your creatures through. So with that said, I'm gonna end this recording here. It's been a bit of a long one. Apologies for that, but this deck has many decisions, and I like to think literally everything through, and I do so out loud. So you guys can call me stupid when I mess up. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you supporting my content, and until next time, have a good one.